friends, it's Katie Ann here, and today we are going to do our craft therapy with this absolutely stunning, beautiful diagonal split card here with some dimension. This card is fairly easy to make, but it sure does give a nice little bang, and it looks beautiful. So we are going to make this card, and today I've decided to change it up a little bit. But I will show you exactly what we're going to do on the new version. Okay, so here is our card, and we are going to use, let me get the supply list for you. We're going to use our Brights Collection ink pads. I'm going to use the Granny Apple Green, the Gorgeous Grape, Flirty Flamingo, and Coastal Cabana today. We'll just set him off to the side. And what we need to start with is we are going to use this Happiness Abounds beautiful stamp set. We're going to use this beautiful rose, this one here, and this flower. So we'll use those out of the Happiness Abounds. This is in the Hues of Happiness suite as well. I'm also going to choose to use the coordinating dies for all of these, and those can be found in the Blossoming Happiness die set. You can get the two as a bundle for 10% off in the annual catalog. I also am going to pull in some of our Stampin' Right markers. Actually, on this one, we are going to use the Brights collection, and we'll probably use an additional color to our palette, and that's going to be the daffodil color. Okay, so we're going to use that in addition, and I will show you. Let's get started here. So first things first is we need a card base. So you can choose to have a pre-done card base, or you can make one. In my case, I chose to make my card base, and I cut my 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I cut it at 5 1/4. Okay, so that gave me 8.5 by 11 by 5 1/4. And what I'm going to do is I then scored it at 4 1/4. Okay, then I made my bone folder and folded it. So there is our card base. I then cut an additional couple of sheets of 4.5 by 5.5 cardstocks. So I have one for the, we're gonna cut the diagonal, and then I have one for the inside. Now, if you choose to, you can do what I did, and you can forego the one on the inside, and you can create this and do a color. I chose the Flirty Flamingo for the inside, and this is 4 1/4 by 5.5. I'm sorry, it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then I cut this white cardstock, the basic white, at 4 by 5. Okay, so we're gonna make like a little mat on the inside of the card. That I really wanted to do because I felt like it tied in the whole look really well together. So it's just, that was like the thing that I wanted to step up my first version with. Okay, so you can choose to not do that or to do that. It's entirely up to you. But first of all, let's work on how to cut this diagonal here. We want to first cut the diagonal, and I'll just get out my paper trimmer, and you can choose to, and I'm not going to get the whole thing, the whole paper trimmer in your view, and I apologize, but this paper trimmer is amazing. It has a score for scoring, and of course your regular paper cutting. And I chose, I don't need the scoring because I've already scored, so I'm moving my score blade down. And I chose to go ahead and take one of my sheets and kind of decide. Every cut that you do is going to be a little different. So on this one, I'm choosing to bring in my cut here, and I'm just going to cut as close as I can to here. I mean, it doesn't have to be precise. It's not anything great. It doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong here, okay? You just cut. And then I'm gonna start in the middle of my sheet just because sometimes when you come down and you're at an angle, you get kind of wonky cuts. And in order to prevent that, I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna cut this. Now this sheet, this is gonna be quite a bit different now that I look at it from my original sheet. And this one's gonna go here like this. See that? And we're gonna see how this goes. We may or may not keep this actually. Oh, you know what I did? I think I messed it up. I do. I think I messed up what I wanted to cut at. That's why it went so far off, which is not a problem. We can go ahead and still cut this like this if we want to, which will not be a problem. I just wanted to get a lot of, how do I explain it? I wanted a lot of opening, and I think that this one is too small of an opening. So basically, this would be the cut here, and this will be the cut here. So you could do an opening like that. Let's see if I could salvage this piece by perhaps, I don't know. Let me see here. Maybe. Let's see what happens if we do this, because basically all we need is the opening. Okay, that looks pretty good. It doesn't give me it gives me a little bit. You know what? I'm gonna try something a little different. Okay. Because what I'm after, I think, what I want to go for is I want it thinner at the top and wider towards the bottom. That's kind of the look that I'm going for. I'm trying to get a look where it gives me the thinner top, wider bottom. Let's see what we get out of this, and then we'll choose which one we want. See, the good news about this is there's no right or wrong. And I kind of like this one. I actually kind of do. So we're going to go for this. Now, this is all we need in order to determine. It's just going to be a little different. This is all we need in order to determine where our stamping has to go. So now I'm going to take this and set it aside. We're done with our trimmer now. And then here, I'm gonna take this sheet of paper and I'm gonna kind of, as ever so slightly with my mechanical pencil, I'm just gonna give myself some borders here. Just some borders. It doesn't have to be anything too major. Just because we're gonna be stamping in that spot. And the reason why I chose to even use the separate sheet of paper, because if you used the thick cardstock, you could probably get away with just stamping on your card. But I chose to use this cardstock, so I chose that I wasn't going to use thick, and so I wanted another piece just to give it that extra bulk. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to take our stamps and we're going to go ahead and stamp the flowers in this area. So let's get our palettes out. I've got all of our colors here, and we're gonna do our flowers in this one. I'm sorry, our leaves in the Granny Apple Green and our flowers in this purple. I will probably only do one in the purple, one or two in the Flirty Flamingo, and I'm gonna do the big one in this beautiful Coastal Cabana color. And then what we will do is I've got everything ready to go. Let's start with this guy right here. So we're going to take our Coastal Cabana and we're just going to stamp our beautiful flower right, and it doesn't matter if he goes over. It does not matter one way or another, okay? He's absolutely gorgeous no matter where we put him. And let's take this beautiful Flirty Flamingo, and we can actually, I'm gonna bring in my silicone sheet, and I love these sheets and things just to make sure we don't get on our table or our work surface, and we can go over a little bit. Okay, and I'm gonna put him like so. Okay, because that's beautifully fine. And let's go ahead and get a leaf. Now I'm gonna try something new and get this this leaf off to the edge. Here, sorry about that. I had to shut the door. The dog lets himself in every once in a while. He thinks he's got to be a part. And his dog bowl is right outside my door. How special. So that gives us a little bit of greenery, but not too much, because we want it to look, you know, probably not like it doesn't belong, right? I don't know. Okay, and I'm gonna come in with this guy. Sometimes the stem, putting the stem in there is too much. Sometimes not. You just want it to look really good when you see it, and I think that'll be fine. And then let's do the purple flower, which is very pretty. Before we do another green, let me clean off my stamps here. Sorry, I hope I'm not shaking the table here. I do like to pull in. I guess I didn't plan very well. I forgot we were using this purple flower. And this purple flower is absolutely gorgeous. We'll put him right here. So he's so beautiful. Okay. So we will do that, and then let me get some more of this greenery. I'm actually going to stamp off a couple of times because I want to leave the bottom guy. Oh, sorry for the shake. I'm doing a long reach to clean my ink or my block, and I should not be doing that. I should be doing it off my desk here. All right, so here, let's do this and see if we can get there we go. And then we're gonna take this guy, the purple. We'll take the Flirty Flamingo one more time, and we'll bring this one right there. And I think that really does good. I think that is lovely. I might do a leaf right here on this. I'm just cleaning my stamp off the table. Okay. Yeah. I'm just gonna do that. Just give it some, you know, some life there and color. Okay, that's perfect. So now on a square, let's set that off to dry. And then we're gonna take this sheet right here. And on this sheet, we're going to do 3. Oh, I'll have to redo him. 1, 2. I want to give him as much space as I can because we're going to color him, and then we're going to cut him out. All right, that is that. I like to make sure I clean off my stamps right away. I don't know if you guys like to do that, but I do. I want them to be clean, and then I clean my blocks extra well because I don't want to just have all that residue all over the place. I don't think it's good for your stamps. And I will just put mine away really quick. That way we can keep track of them quickly. Quite quickly. All right. So this card ends up being really fantastic. Oh man. Okay. This card ends up being fantastic in the making of this, because it's just so quick, easy, good. All right. I got a little ahead of myself. I got to pull out one more thing here. So much for being prepared. Is that like the life story whenever you're prepared, you know? All right. There we go. Okay. So those are our 3. So we're going to stamp all those. And in this, we're going to do a watercolor technique. So you get a real exciting lesson here. We're going to set that aside, and I'm going to show you how to do watercolor techniques with this. We're going to start with this big, beautiful. I want to start here. And the reason why being that I want to start here is because I'll be dragging. And I think that's probably a wise choice. And what I do is, originally when I started this, I thought, okay, what would be a great idea is for me to pull out my Stampin' Right markers and color on here and then watercolor them in. Well, they ended up being a little bit too light for my liking. So, excuse me, I had to take a drink. So I then decided what we'd do is we'd take our block, get some ink on it, like so, and then we have our watercolor pen, and we just take that watercolor pen, get some water down here. This also has a lot of water in it now, so we just need to be careful. And then we just take it, and then we're gonna take some areas, and we're gonna start flowing out with the ink. Now remember, this is you kind of want your color to disperse in a watercolor motion. So you just got to be mindful of your shadows and where you want the heavier colors. And of course, probably around this is so easy. These stamps offer so much variety and so much technique. I just cannot even get over it. These stamp pads are absolutely gorgeous, and they offer so much variety versus like just regular stamping. I mean, the stamp off capabilities to get multiple hues in the same color, that in itself is priceless. And then to be able to watercolor with your stamps, and I mean, look at how flawless this is. This set was kind of like, when I got it, I was a little sad because they didn't have like a fill-in color. But then I was like, oh, never fear, we'll just watercolor. And you get the variety of having an outlined stamp that's just gorgeous. So you can make this, now remember, you can build the color up, you can make this as light or as dark as you want, but do remember that you can thin it out a bit, but you can't take it away. I mean, you can thin your color out to an extent. I mean, you don't want to make it real dark and then put holes in your paper, because we're not using watercolor paper here. I chose not to. You could use watercolor paper and then have more ability to do so, but with as little as I did, I just figured we would just go for it. So anyway, so here we are doing these, and I thought, well, let's just go through these real quick and look at how gorgeous it turns out. Okay, so then I want to show you the technique that I used for the rows down here, and I just got the block and got my color. Same thing, same exact technique. Make sure you clean off your brush. It's important that your brush stay clean and you don't mix colors or you might make mud. And then we did the same exact thing, and you just draw your color out. However you like it. Now, these stamens can become a little problematic because you want it kind of to be, if you're like me, you like your color to be a little darker in the center and kind of get lighter on the outs, which I don't know if that's proper or not. Maybe I'm doing it backwards. I don't know. I think it just depends on what you like, or how realistic you're going for. So, or where the shadow is, you know, in your color. So we just get the color. Okay, now see how my stamen here is getting a little bit mixed up, and these stamens here on this green also are getting a little blendy. I have a trick for that to show you. All right. There we go. There's that guy. Now, something I like to do with my leaves is, let's clean this guy off and let me get you some. Let me get some green ink. Oops. I sometimes feel like I'm a cat in a china closet here. Make sure I get all my colors picked up. I think you can push your color out on this if you wanted to, but I'm kind of strange and I don't like to do that. I don't know if that makes me strange or what, but I don't know. I'm weird. I like things to look nice for as long as possible, and I just am weird like that. So I just do mine on a block. I probably would save ink if I did it like that, but I don't know. So for these, what I like to do is I kind of like to start in the middle, and I kind of like to pull the color to the outside. So that's kind of what I like to do for the green. So you take your middles, just because I feel like that's probably where it's most, like if it gets dark in the middle, it's okay because you usually have a vein in the middle, so you don't have to worry. So I don't mind if there's a vein looking part. So that's kind of how I did each one of my leaves here, like so, and just kind of pulled the color on either side of the leaf here. And ultimately what happens is you end up with this gorgeous, gorgeous watercolored look. Okay, and I want to share something too with you. So here's the deal. Where the stamens come in to place, and they are looking like they're they look a little bit like they're blending, right? I took my Stampin' Right markers, and this is Flirty Flamingo, Coastal Cabana, Daffodil Delight, and I didn't really need the Granny Apple Green for this set. So what I did was I did this. I took my pen area and I will show you on the finished product, but where some of these lines ended up looking like they were running together, I just sharpened it with the pen. I just kind of came in with my pen and just sharpened that look. And it really made a difference. So it really brought out, because you lost some of the lines, right? So I don't want you to feel like you can't color and get those lines back, because you very much can. Where the stamens are concerned, I just came in and I did a little bit of stamen drawing on some of those stamens, and I brought them out again, because I don't want it to look really light there per se. And then I came in with my marker here with my Daffodil Delight, and I gave it a little over with my, because these two, you can do this with your color, and I didn't want the color to be like super. You can also write on your block. Oops, you can write on your block like I showed in the other, and take your color up from your block. So you can take your color right on your block, and then you pull the color from your pen like this and just pull out. But there again, in that center, it kind of starts to look a little blurry, and it kind of looks like it's not looking so hot, right? So the remedy for that is this, what I'm going to show you. All right. Now, the remedy for that is coming up. We're going to let that dry for a second, and then I'll show you. So in the meantime, oh, I got my hair stuck to my finger, and then I got this, which will allow me some of these stamens, because we really lost them in the center there, and then we're just able to pull out some of the lines again, and giving it like life. It gives it life, I believe. So coming back over here, now we have that center. It should be dry now, and then we can just ever so slightly bring your lines back in the center like that. See how that worked? And this gives such gorgeous looks. Now, here are our done flowers. Look at how gorgeous that looks. I've cut them out to save us time. I've got them all colored and done. And we have these beautiful watercolor look. I really love this look. If you are a fan of watercolor, I am such a fan of this look, because it's so soft and so feminine and beautiful. I just really like that. Okay, so then what we do next is we go ahead, we need to erase the marks on our sheet. Where did good Lord. Now the question is, where do you set things? Okay. All right, I also want to stamp this here and give it a message. And I feel like my message was something like, I like the wishing you all the happiness you can imagine. I think that is a beautiful sentiment to go on the inside of your card. And I think that is something I'd like to stamp in the inside. And I want to put happy birthday on the outside. And I want one of these roses on the inside. Maybe this one. Just to the side here. So I'm thinking that I'd like to do that in a purple. So let's do both stamps in purple, just because it's darker and I kind of like the way it looks. Just give us some tap tap. It makes your card complete. Look at that, absolutely gorgeous. It makes your card complete when you give the inside a little do. That way it doesn't look like you're, you know, just not giving it your all. Like your card's really not complete until it does that. Okay, so let's get the wishing you happiness. Now, I want to make sure that this is just where I want it. Okay. There we have it. Always take a deep breath. It's just paper though. Take a deep breath, breathe, stamp, and it's just paper. If we mess up, we can always get more. I have a teacher who teaches me quilling, and she always tells me, Katie, it's just paper. It's just paper. So true though. Okay, I'm so excited about this. I think that looks stunning. Okay, so we're gonna have that, and that's gonna be done. Okay. All right, now I wanna take the marks, and I wanna, hopefully I'm not shaking you too much. I want to get rid of the ink. The nice thing about mechanical pencils is their eraser. So as we said, never are you going to have two cards in this manner generally, unless you have a template that look the same. And that's okay. I mean, if you're okay with that, I am. I love my cards looking like this and looking like this, just two different ways. I'm absolutely 100% okay with that. Now we need to take our guy here and this one here, and look at that beautiful, that just looks absolutely stunning. But wait, we're not done. I decided I wanted to do the Flirty Flamingo on the inside. So basically what I'm looking for is to cut this and I just want an ever so slightly rim, like that. So I want that one there, and I don't think that this one will fit. I think we'll have to do two different, yeah, we'll have to do two different ones, but we're gonna do two strips. I'm gonna do 1/4 of an inch maybe, just because we're not gonna need very much. I like the lesser look than the more look. So we're gonna try and do the lesser look here. Okay, get our thing here, and we'll do that there. I have a teenager who, we're gonna try this on one before we do the next one. Just make sure I can get it the right size. I have a teenager who is always trying to make money. So he doesn't ask us for money ever. He makes his own money. He has a job and he makes his own money, but he's always, you know, wanting to earn some money. So that will be perfect. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so we'll do one more. We'll cut one more of these strips because we're gonna need it. Anyway, so he's always making money, and my husband and I, we have 3 sons. So my husband and I really lucked out by the fact that we were at the store the other day, and this gal said her son asks her for money every single solitary day of his life. There's never a day go by that he don't ask her for money. And I was like, oh gosh, we have never, like our boys have never, they never ask us for money. And I'm not really huge on giving them allowance either. I probably should be a little better about it because they're boys and they do work hard and they deserve a little something. But I've never really, I'm gonna use just an ever so smidge line of glue on the outside here. This is the Tombow Mono Multi Glue, and we're just gonna go ever so slightly. If I can get it out, maybe I should, there we go. Get it out on my, there we go. I don't want any gush or ooze. You know, I just want ever so. Anyway, we're not really been big on the allowance, because I've always felt like you kind of, like, I provide for you, I do everything for you, and the least you can do is help me. And I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect parent, but I feel like the least you could do is help me. I provide you with everything you need, and the least you could do is help me, you know, around the house. I mean, like, that's your job. Your job is to go to school and do the best you can there and to help out around the house. That's kind of my thought. I could be wrong. I don't know. But anyway, back to the story. So the kids have never really asked us for much as far as money or anything like that, probably because they wouldn't get it, for one, and for two, they really work hard and do other things. Like, I was hoping against hope, even though I knew it wouldn't fit because we already measured. But I've always wanted, you know, them to be resourceful and find themselves a way to make money. or just to be like, hey, can I do this additional thing in order to get money? So our son, who's 16, has been quite resourceful. And my husband bought a new pressure washer. Okay, he just bought a new pressure washer and it wasn't working very well. So it was working, it just was, the pull was way too hard. So he ended up taking it back and he brings home a new one, right? So there was something defective about the pull. So anyway, he brings home a new pressure washer and then he's home like one day and he sees our son, our youngest son, Casey, coming down the road after he comes off from work, pulling a cart behind him. And what does he find himself pulling? My husband's brand new pressure washer. My husband's like, oh my gosh, I come down the road and here he is with the pressure washer, brand new pressure washer. And I ask him, what have you been doing? And he goes, oh, I just went and pressure washed the neighbors for some money. And we just were like, I mean, what are we gonna say? What in the world are we gonna say to that? No, you can't go pressure wash the neighbor's house and earn yourself some money? Like, we're kind of funny. We're like, are we proud or are we not? I honestly do not like the way that this one turned out. I'm going to pull it off, which is fine. I've got enough time. Okay, so now we're gonna do this. And I should probably just be doing this over here on this so I don't get my table all sticky. There's nothing worse than sticky on your table when you're in the middle of working. I have I should have used my other glue that has a little tip. This tip is wonderful, but now I didn't see it, and now I see it, and it's too late now. Too late now. Okay. What I did before that I didn't like was I started closer to the edge than I should have, and instead of pushing up towards the bottom, I was pushing down. So I didn't like that because all of my area was feeling a little bit glued. So that way's better. Okay. That guy is better. Okay. Yeah. All right. So now we have this, and that's gonna go like so. And then we have this, and that goes like so. How beautiful, okay? Okay, we're gonna do those. Now, how we're going to stand these up is we're gonna put dimensional tape all along the edges. And we don't wanna get it too close because we don't want to be able to see it. We don't want it to stand out. That's something that we're definitely not looking for, is for it to stand out. Okay, so I'm going to, let me think here. I want to stamp this before we do dimensional tape, or not stamp it, just make sure I get my look. I have a piece of paper, which is right here. and I want to stamp. We can use our mat right here. See how I got stickiness on this surface? Glue and tape won't stick to this permanently. So that is the nice thing about our silicone mat. You can get stuff on it and then clear it off, and then it's not all over your project or your table or whatever. But before I do that, I want to decide what sentiment I'm going to put on there. So unfortunately, I don't have dies that cover the sentiments. They just do the flowers, and so we don't have dies for that, but we'll have to put them out and then decide where we want. But I think we're gonna do this happy birthday. I think the happy birthday will look really good just across here. So I would like to figure out how wide this happy birthday is. Like, how much space do we need? I think we pretty much need the majority of this. And then what we'll do is we'll cut it and we'll flag it. And then we'll put it up on dimensionals. So I think that this is probably a really good size width for this happy birthday. That way we get it the right size. Okay. It is very Okay, now we got to determine what color we want the happy birthday. And I think, again, for me, I'm almost feeling like this gorgeous grape is kind of the color, because, and I'll tell you why, it really pops. It stands out. It's not quite too dark, and I just feel like it's a really good color. I want to give it 2 tries. I want to make sure that I think that that's the color I'm going for right there. Also feels like it's going downhill, but I don't think it is. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking we're just gonna take a little test here. Well, that's weird. Before I go and ruin my one sheet. I almost did it upside down. Okay, see how that looks. Then I was thinking of flagging it, because because that just looks absolutely stunning. And then it's gonna go somewhere. Okay, I think that would be very nice. Okay, so I think that will be perfect. All right. The dye in this ink definitely gets your color, your stuff stained, but remember, this does not hurt your inks or your photopolymer stamps at a bit. They are stained, but they don't, the staining does not come off. It doesn't ruin them in any way or shape. It just dyes them. There's probably a lot of pigment in this purple, this gorgeous grape, which, you know, has some staining factor, and that's okay. That's totally okay. It's fine with me. I actually use photopolymer much. I like it much better than I like the other okay, I'm gonna probably cut those down a bit. I just want to give it a little bit. Anyway, as I was saying, I probably do that a lot, is talk and then forget what I was saying. I use photopolymer a lot more than I use like cling stamps, rubber stamps. I don't really care for those. Okay, so now that I have that and that's out the way, let's go ahead and take our tape, and we're just going to this is just foam tape that I have, and Stampin' Up has a great foam adhesive that is like a strip. And while I have it somewhere, I'm in the middle of moving my office. I am in the middle of getting a new office, and I'm temporarily in our spare room in our house, and my office is in our garage that is detached from the house. So I am a little bit displaced at the moment, which is fine. And that's why you hear all kinds of sounds and noises from my kids, because they're not used to that. Nobody's used to me being in the house. It was so funny. Before I started doing this video today, my husband, I told him I was coming in here and I was gonna do my video, and then he was like, okay. And then a little while later, I was getting ready, and I hear the door smidge open. And this is another thing, the dog can like let himself in. I don't know how he does it, but like he just barges on in my space all the time. So anyway, so my husband comes in and he's like, oh, I didn't know if you were busy, and but I wanted to get the laundry basket because we keep our laundry basket of towels in here in this room. So I was like, oh boy, no, I'm not busy yet, lucky you. Because had I been busy, I probably wouldn't have been a happy camper. I do have to remember though that these boys aren't usually used to me even being in the house. and I could have quiet space. I ended up cutting this one because this is such a small little piece. I want to give it enough, but not too much. There we go. You want it, the trick is you want it definitely to be balanced, but getting it balanced is a trick, you know? It's like, that's the trick. All right, I think that'll do it. I think that'll do it. Okay. Now, we're gonna go like so. Is that not gorgeous? It's pretty, I think. So, I'm going to go ahead and pull these off. Something you can use is take your pick tool. Mine is put away at the moment. I didn't get it out before I started. Good thing that these are just little easy peasy things here. Yeah, perfect. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Sometimes if you have direction issues like I do on how to get things straight, you can. Perfect. Okay, so you see that dimension there? I love it. Okay, so it brings it up, and now we're looking at that. So now let's figure out where we want to put these. Okay, I definitely like that there. So I don't want to mess with that at the moment. Oh, mercy. Oh, mercy, mercy. Okay, and I want to put that there. So we're gonna have that there. like that. And then let's put this guy. Yeah, let's put him on the other side. Maybe I want to put him like this. Like that, yeah. Okay. So now, okay. So now I want this guy to go like that. And then what I want to do is I want to take our dimensionals and I want to put dimensionals down here. This dimensional is going to serve as a glue and a popper. Okay. And we're gonna try to I may need to double decker these. I actually think I do. Sometimes in order to get more oomph in your you can pop up doubles and give it a double decker. That gives you a little more oomph. Up here, we probably don't need that. That's right. See, you want to keep it and it will fit right in there. So nice. Perfect. I am very most pleased. So it gives it that extra dimension where it needs the stability. There we go. And I just love that. Now we can figure out I definitely don't know. I'm trying to decide where we should put this. I may want this to be two different sizes. May. Remember, our inside says, wishing you all the happiness you can imagine. I wonder. I mean, it looks good there. I just want it to be balanced, you know? I don't know. I feel like this would be really pretty to just go happy birthday there. Oh, you know what? I've got some, I know what we could put there. We could put some little dewdrops. And I've got to think about where I put them in this new space of mine. This is not really my space, it's temporary. But I've got some, I have some, what do you call those? Little gems, little things, and we'll put them there. Okay, problem solved. So I think I'm gonna cut here and here. There also is, we also have these things called brass butterflies, and you can get them online on the website, on my website. And I don't have any on hand, but as I'm speaking, I'm thinking those would be very cute for this card, to put a brass butterfly up there. And they sure would. Okay. So this will go happy birthday down there. So what we're going to need is dimensional right there, because this doesn't need dimensional, but we're probably going to need a double-decker right there. See that? Yep. I probably could have done that a little bit, a little bit more, better. And got that on there first before I, look at how beautiful that is. I like the look of that. And let me get those little gems. Okay, so I've got some rhinestones. I did the basic white and colored them in the pens. So with the alcohol markers, with the blends. So basically I have a granny apple green, and let's see if I can get that. Just kind of see about getting those up. And a Coastal Cabana. Just trying to see where we want these to go. And then a Flirty Flamingo. Just trying to decide if I like them in the spots. Okay, so as soon as I figure out where I want these to go, it's so difficult to determine because I want them to lay nice. I think that will work. I don't know if I want them. There we go. That might look good. Yeah, let's do that. So they're kind of in thirds, you know, you have 3. That looks good. This gives it a little bit of color and balance. Make sure that I think that might be too much. It's cute, but it might be too much, so down there's probably best. And there we have that. Okay, so now this gets to go on the front of our card base, and this gets to go on the inside of our card base. So let's attach these. Okay, we're just gonna do a little bitty bit of glue. Not too much now. We don't want a bunch of oozy, right? But I do like to use glue versus like a tape, because I like the forgiveness. I need it. I'm not the best. I'm not the best. Let's just say that. Okay, so that then is gonna go inside here. Yeah, I'm not the best in the glue. Or the adhesion part. And I need the extra forgiveness, the extra couple seconds, because I don't get things straight all the time. But when you got the extra forgiveness, then it ends up looking pretty darn good. Now this card, the hardest part is definitely the stamping, which is not hard, and it goes together pretty fairly quickly. I mean, when you think about it, and I like that. That's why I chose a thinner. I chose a thinner base because I wanted it to look like that. Maybe. And now, look at that. Look at what a beautiful card that is, you guys. How gorgeous is that? I'm so pleased with it, and I love the Flirty Flamingo that went all the way around it. Get that beautiful color, and my little rhinestones, and how beautiful is it? It looks really good, and I love it. And we did all this with one stamp set and the die set. So Really, really absolutely stunning and pretty easy to do. You could do this with any stamp set that you have. You don't just have to use the Happiness Abounds stamp set. You can use any stamp set in your stash, which is something that I love. You can use any color variation and you can get something very beautiful. So this was my first go at it, and then I spiffed it up a little bit. I brought it up and made this absolutely stunning gem. So I encourage you to make yours. All the supplies will be in the links down below, but please make you one. Go to my blog, give a comment, and like and subscribe if you'd like to see more of this sort of thing. I am just new at these making videos, so I'm hoping that they get better as we go. And yeah, so that should do it. All right, guys, I hope that you have a blessed day, and I can't wait to see what you do. Bye-bye now.